The picture is finally starting to come into focus. The regular season is over. The New York Jets have 2 top 10 picks. What are they going to do in this year's draft?
J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets!
All right, welcome in. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Boys and girls, the 2021 season is in the books for the New York Jets. We finish at 4-13, but there is a silver lining. We have hit the offseason. We have $70 million in salary cap space and 2 top 10 picks coming for this year's draft with 5 picks in the top 70. So the Jets are going to be able to make a lot of things happen, going to look like a completely new team next year. Not to mention all the people who are coming back from injuries that we had this year, guys like Mekhi Becton, possibly LaMarcus Joyner, Carl Lawson, guys of that nature, Connor McGovern coming back. So we're going to have a lot more horses in the stable next year when we go and take the field at the beginning of the season. But what are the Jets going to do with their number 4 and number 10 picks? Because this is really interesting. This is where you could add a ton of talent. At number 4, well, I guess let's take a look at who's in front of us. Jacksonville at number 1, Detroit number 2, Houston number 3. Jets are sitting at 4 just in front of the Giants. Then you got Carolina, the Giants by way of Chicago in the Justin Fields trade from last year. You have Atlanta at 8, Denver at 9, and then the Jets sitting at number 10 with Washington right behind them. So right now, all the major mock drafts are all pretty much predicting Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau, the 2 top edge rushers in this class, going before the Jets pick. And then it kind of gets a little murky after that. The 3rd pick tends to be kind of up in the air. It goes anywhere from a quarterback to an offensive lineman to maybe a secondary piece. It's kind of interesting to see where they could wind up going there. But the Jets sitting at 4, ideally in my mind, I would like one of the top edge rushers. And the one that really comes to mind with those 2, Hutchinson and Thibodeau, coming off the board already, would be George Karlaftis, the edge from Purdue. This guy is absolutely elite and totally worthy of the number 4 overall pick. I think his stock will continue to rise as we get closer to the draft. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Does Joe Douglas wind up favoring that player at number 4, or will he try to maneuver some picks? Because with the Giants sitting at 5, we have heard they're sticking with Joe Judge. We have heard they're going to stick with Daniel Jones. But the Jets were keeping Jamal Adams, and they were keeping Sam Darnold. So everything can change real quick. I wouldn't really take anything that the talking heads really have to say at this point in time. So the Giants could take a quarterback at 5. So would Joe Douglas possibly look at shifting that 4th pick if he doesn't want an edge rusher, or maybe he wants to look at Kyle Hamilton? Maybe he starts sliding down a little bit for a team that wants a quarterback to leap in front of the Giants. Teams like Washington at number 11 may not want their division rival to get their pick of quarterback right there. Or maybe it's Atlanta jumping in front of the Panthers. So there's a few options that the Jets could really have in their arsenal, and I do think, for me, edge rusher and trade down are the 2 options at number 4. I don't think there's any other position I'd like to go right there. As far as number 10, that's where things start to get a little bit interesting, because if you had asked me earlier in the season, I would have been very high on Tyler Linderbaum. I would have been, maybe looking some defensive players, something along those lines. I think my tune has kind of changed a little bit because of the play of McGovern. I think I would probably push the center need a little bit further down, maybe 2nd or 3rd round. I think the value is probably better taking that type of position a little bit later than spending it on a top 10 pick. I do like Linderbaum, so if he's the pick, I have no problem with that. The guy's incredibly athletic. It's just going to be very hard to hit that caliber of game-changingness at number 10 with a center versus later on. You could look wide receiver. Wide receiver is really where I think this is gonna come into play. I would love to make a trade for Calvin Ridley. I've made that known, pending what winds up happening. I don't know if Joe Douglas would wind up making that move, but the wide receiver class in free agency has really taken a big hit with Chris Godwin and Michael Gallup both going down with ACL injuries. Those were the 2 guys that I really wanted to focus on. I really don't have any interest in Juju Smith-Schuster. Mike Williams doesn't feel like the type of receiver we need, and then I liked Allen Robinson, but I think he's a little bit beyond where I'd like him to be at this point as far as age goes. And then everyone else just kind of gives me the sort of feeling. So I think I'd rather go tight end and spend our money there in free agency, and then look at wide receiver in the draft. And guys that I'm kind of keeping my eye on, Jamison Williams from Alabama, Treylon Burks from Arkansas, and London, Drake London? London Drake. London Drake. Drake London. I don't know. The receiver from USC. I should have looked up his damn name beforehand. Those would be the 2 guys or 3 guys that I'm really looking at. And I don't know where they all shake out. Williams feels like he could be the first receiver off the board, but what's nice about all these teams in front of us right here in this top 10, it doesn't feel like wide receiver is going to be one of their needs. So the Jets are going to be able to have their pick, most likely, of any of the top wide receivers. Now, Jameson Williams, 6'2", 6'3", blazing speed. Then you got Burks and London, who are both very big-bodied, 6'4", 6'5" type guys, big red zone targets that have massive catch radiuses. Now, you could go the linebacker route, someone like a Nakobe Dean or a Lloyd, someone in that realm. I like Nakobe Dean a lot. I'm not sure where he winds up shaking out on the draft power rankings or anything like that, but the dude looks incredible. I think you have to help your young quarterback. If we saw anything towards the end of this season, it was that when Corey Davis and Elijah Moore and Braxton Berrios and Jamison Crowder are all unavailable, you got to have some bodies on the field. And unfortunately, Denzel Mims, our second-round pick from just 2 drafts ago, doesn't appear like he's going to wind up being on this team very much longer. And I don't think we could comfortably rely on him going into next year. And we're already losing Crowder and Cole to free agency. Hopefully we bring back Berrios. So receiver of all the positions we could kind of go feels like the best value at number 10. I mean, help out your quarterback, score some points, get after the quarterback so the other team can't score points, and I think it's going to make things a lot easier in that top 10. So guys, let me know. What do you want to do at number 4? Do you want to keep the pick? Do you want to take an edge rusher? Do you want to go a different direction? Would you trade down? What do you want to do at pick number 10 now that we know where that is? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm really curious to see where you guys fall on this. And as always, go Jets.
Jets!